Welcome, I'm Light the Viking, and this is a spin to win build in Grim Dawn. Just thought I should talk a little bit about that and what my build is personally. So first, I have the Soldier and Oathkeeper classes, which together makes the Warlord. And to get the spin ability, you gotta go with Eye of Reckoning, and then go into Soulfire later. So basically try your best to just keep leveling this up as much as you can, and you can probably see that Celestial Power Twin Fangs is connected. I will talk about that a little bit later. But this is a build that relies on basically one ability, or kind of two for me. And also, you could say impaling weapons, which is granted by item, but you can do whatever you want there. But in general, it's basically Eye of Reckoning and Chaos Strike, which is granted by item. That is an ability. You don't really need that too, either. I didn't have it for the longest time, but it's kind of like a blink ability. Kind of like how Blitz is. But you can actually choose between Blitz and Chaos Strike. I'll be showing that in the gameplay a little bit later here. So in the Devotion tree, I talked about how Eye of Reckoning is connected to the Twin Fangs. The Twin Fangs ability, which is a Lifesteal ability. That's something I focus on a lot on this build, because you need to stay in the fight with the spinning for as long as possible. You can either go with Bat, which I did, and then get to this Devotion point, which levels up Twin Fangs when you bind it to Eye of Reckoning. That's my recommendation. Or you could also go with Ghoulish Hunger. You can also bind that to Eye of Reckoning if you want on Ghoul. So when it comes to my gear, I'm using a two-handed axe, or two-handed weapons basically, right now. And for the most of the game I've been using like specifically two-handed. So moving on from epic two-handed axe, that is Champion of the Light, which is together with the Dawnguard plate, which gives you 50% to all retaliation damage, plus 50% to all retaliation damage. That's what I have right now. Demon Bone Leg Plates. I'm using the Sanctuary Empowered Relic, which creates a protective barrier that forms around you whenever an enemy manages to find a weak point in your defenses. That's actually very important for this build. Empowered Oldenar Stabilizer. Badge of the Crimson Company. You can attach the Glyph of Ashen Waste, which is attached to this epic medal. That gives you Chaos Strike to any medals, obviously, but I attached Chaos Strike to that, which is this one, which basically blinks you to an enemy and strikes, which is also very useful for getting into battle and out of battle. And if you're stuck, you can blink pretty far to an enemy that's pretty far away from you to get out of that. So obviously I have everything like maxed here of resistances, over 80. Some are overcapped obviously, so you don't really need to do that at all. But one thing you need is stun resistance on this build. If you get stunned, you have problems on this build. That's something I would like to recommend you focus on first. And then we have Empowered Final March. I have Empowered Hand Guards of Perdition. Dawn Shard Pauldrons. We have Incorruptible Living Ring of Fox. Resistant Vine Ring of Squalls. You see I have Ectoplasm connected to that component, which gives you energy and energy regenerated per second. That's actually pretty good early, and later too. I also have that on empowered Anchorite's head guard, because you do need to use a lot of energy. And then we have the Will of the Blade, which has Phantasmal Blade, 33% chance on critical attack. Alright, we're gonna try it in battle here. Let me show you how it works out. You see there, I did like a quick Chaos Strike, quick blitz, or blink to the enemy, and I just start spinning. And it's surprisingly fun to just spin like this. More than you think, the gameplay is more fun than you think, even though you're kind of relying on a lot of passives. It is actually a fun playstyle, just like it is. And like I said earlier, I didn't have Chaos Strike, I just relied on AI Reckoning basically. That's it. And maybe impaling weapons or something like that. So you don't need to do much of anything. So yeah, when it comes to passives, basically just focus on all the passives you have in Soldier. And some of them in Oathkeeper, like Resilience. And obviously Soulfire, that goes along with AI Reckoning. But Soldier, that's where your tankiness comes from, with Military Condition, Veterancy, Decorated Soldier, Scars of Battle. That's really good with the 32% reduced stun duration and freeze duration, because that's like the death of a character like this. If you don't have anything like to resist stun or freeze, for example, you're more likely to die, way more likely to die. But if you're unstoppable like that, and you have Manor's Will here, which is requiring a shield or two-handed melee weapon, it heals you back up to full immediately. So you have like a save state kind of deal, where it activates when your health drops below 33%. So I recommend that too. And now later I've been putting it into Fighting Spirit. But yeah, it's like a passive, so one skill build, which is actually pretty fun, that also lifesteals, that I really recommend you do play. I played on Veteran this playthrough, and I basically one-shot the Grim Dawn base game last boss. Well, not one-shot, but first tried. And same with the last boss in Forgotten Gods. A lot of bosses you just first try because you're so tanky. You don't do too much damage. It's just that you have a lot of retaliation, a lot of tankiness. That also works towards beating bosses pretty more easily than other classes maybe. Yes, it's just like a fun build in my opinion to play. I don't know how it works on Ultimate, but it might actually work out. Who knows? This is also very good for lazy players like me, obviously. If you don't want to do much like active abilities. And like I said, it is actually a fun playstyle, because you just stay in the battle for long amounts of time because of your lifesteal and your tankiness and retaliation and not being able to be stunned, like the enemies can't stun you. So yeah, it's a huge recommendation for me. Alright, so if I get stuck here, let's say I get stuck here, I can blink up here. That's the good thing about the Chaos Strike. If I'm just overwhelmed by enemies here, I just blink out of it. You don't need it, but it's very nice to have. So thanks for watching this build, this fun spin to win build. Like the video and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.